So 2005, I guess it was uncertain with our customer Virgin whether they were not convinced that we were going to reach the right performance levels for us to continue together. So where we were supposed to be putting 47 trains in service, we could manage 38 trains in service. When the trains were in service, the kitchens were not working properly, the toilets were not working properly. We had to come quickly to a realisation that we needed to find a new way of working, a new way of operating. So I guess it's a realisation and understanding that the way we were going to do this was not through a traditional top-down telling people how to do stuff. It was to get a whole mobilisation of our 1,000-strong workforce there to be totally committed and totally understanding of how we can improve the way that they are involved in understanding the planning of the railway, understanding the planning of the work, to really get the brain power of the whole organisation involved in the delivery of the train.
I was still a team member A, and then when we went back, we always had ideas, good ideas. So we started off making it out of wood because it was cheap, it was easy to manufacture, and then once we made it out of the wood and proved that it worked, we took it one step further and we get outside companies to start making it. So then we go back to the Kaizen workshop and start making the things, and then I started doing it full time with one of the KPO leaders.
We needed to make sure the projects were truly aligned to the strategic intent of the business. They decided that before we actually launched the Lean program and to start to do a Kaizen program, set up a Kaizen promotion office, that we actually launched policy deployment.
The goal at that point was to double sales, which again was quite a considerable feat for us all. But the tool of policy deployment was the vehicle by which we were able to achieve that goal at the end of the day.
Those early Kaizen events, the majority of them were targeted at components that we were changing out on the trains that we couldn't do overnight. And the reason that was difficult, because when a train comes in to a depot overnight, there's quite a complex set of tasks that have to happen on that train. The window of opportunity to actually do some corrective maintenance, to fix some faults on that train, is about 3 hours. And we had about 12 to 15 components that we were struggling to change out on that train within that time frame. The problem we had was that if we can't do that work overnight because of the lead time issue, we have to stand the train down during the day. And if the train is stood down during the day, it's not earning revenue for our customer. So the idea is, if we can Kaizen the change out of all those key components and reduce the lead time to change those components out to less than 3 hours, we can therefore move that activity onto the night shift and then give an extra train to the customer to put into service during the day.
So in the bogie workshop, we have 7 production cells, each of which have been carefully laid out to ensure that the tooling that's needed at each stage, the material that will be consumed and replenished at each stage, and the scrap material that will be removed, all those facilities are close at hand.
There is a huge amount of time spent for staff obtaining materials from the stores, walking to obtain consumable items. Focusing in that area again would reduce that walking time or non-value added, or reduce the amount of non-value added, and increase our efficiencies throughout the business, which again support increasing sales.
One of the things which we looked at was where we looked at the area of the vehicle when it's positioned inside the shed to the area of the material which would link to the actual train itself. So when a fit is working here, he can quite easily obtain like a wiper arm. He could take the old one off, put it into the dirty location and physically put this part on here. It saves all the time wasted just walking around a site just to obtain something like a part like this.
So we ended up in a position where we had to provide 47 from 52 trains, which with the old way of thinking would have been probably a bridge too far. But with the new processes adopted, we use those techniques in order to brainstorm, think laterally and find a way of delivering 47 from 52, which indeed we managed to do. Having delivered our 47 trains from 52, through our policy deployment and breakthrough process, we believed it was possible to actually deliver a 48th or even a 49th train through using the techniques, lean techniques that we've adopted. So through some lateral thinking, an additional 2 trains is in fact possible. So in summary, we have doubled our revenue whilst improving our productivity twofold. So, you know, that speaks volumes in terms of what's been achieved through policy deployment and the lean processes that have been adopted over the last 6 years or so. I seem to recall some years ago a concern I had at the time, and I was reminded by my manager at the time that we must keep the faith, and you know, that's something I did, and I've absolutely no doubt we'll keep the faith again, and the team will again succeed and deliver, and in a large part due to what we've learned through policy deployment and lean.